All right. Good evening, everyone. It's Kinninigan. First of all, thanks, Kalina. She just sent me a donation on my channel. I appreciate it. I went out and got some things I needed. I'll just say this right up front because it makes my life a lot easier, and who knows, I might have a better Friday night if this happens. But if anyone can support the channel, let's see. I'm just gonna be straight up honest about this one. Uh, yeah, if you could donate at least $2. Yeah, $2. Um, it'll help me in getting something tonight that I think some of these might figure out what that is. But let's just say I wasn't able to smoke for a few days because of my tooth coming out. It healed. There's no dry socket, but I did not smoke any herbal medication. Uh, however, yeah, it's pretty much healed up. I'm lucky I didn't get dry socket, and the reason why is because my tooth was loose for so long it basically came out itself. I didn't force it out, and that's how you typically do get dry socket because you obviously tear your gums up. And two, luckily, this has something to do with it too. I have O positive blood, and people with O positive blood, we tend to heal faster. We have more white blood cells, and that's another good thing, right? So yeah, I do. If you could, that would be really awesome. So, Harold Hammond, Haram. I'm just going to go over this briefly, Harold. I don't mind. Typically, I don't tear apart other content creators or YouTubers because although they act like it, I'm more liberal than most of them idiots are because I believe everyone has a right to say what's ever on their mind about anything. Um, however, there is some red flags in that name. Can you look into a guy's name named Aman? That's Ammon. MM like Master Mason. Hillman. Uh, I thought that name looked familiar. Yeah, so I looked up some of his content. Now, I'm not saying that he is because actually, if he was, I find it pretty interesting that a Freemason would put out a video like that because they tend to live under the idea that they're a Christian philanthropic organization that's not involved in anything evil and they're just a fraternity. Yeah, whatever. But the videos are here on YouTube, as well as the content creators he hangs around with, like Lady Babylon 666, who made a video that's on YouTube called Jesus is a Pedo. Aman Hillman has a video on YouTube, and listen to the title of this one: Jesus gets high on children. Gee, where did I hear that idea before? Jesus gets high on children. So let me tell you the first red flag here. It's the name Aman itself. That is a name that is heavily tied into specifically Jewish mysticism. The Freemason practice Jewish mysticism. And there is another variation of the word Aman that you as a Christian are probably familiar with, and that is the word Amen. Amen. And in Masonic Bibles, they end their prayer quotes with a word called Amen Ra, which is interesting. There's a lot of three-syllable words with the Masons. It's a reoccurring thing, like Abydos, Amen Ra, Medina. Well, Medina is a word. That's when you become a Shriner, but so yeah, huge red flags with that. Basically, in a nutshell, I'd have to do a whole lecture about this. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but Aman specifically, like, is it's an entity which comes out of Egypt with ram's horns. There is also an ancient civilization known as the Ammonites, and yes, Ammon is the root word of ammonia, which is really interesting because ammonia, if you know anything about it, yeah, one of the things that ammonia is used for, it's used by power lifters. Going back to Jesus gets high on children. What do power lifters use ammonia for? Well, they use it to raise their adrenaline levels temporarily. They sniff the ammonia and then they'll go and do like a bench, lift some heavy weights real quick. A lot of power lifters do that and strong men. It's no secret. And obviously, you know about ammonia capsules being used to wake up unconscious people. It's a very, and if you own cats, if you have cats, you know what ammonia is. So yeah, very interesting things there. Look, I'd rather just do a video about the word Aman, but here you're seeing a variation of it called Zeus Aman, and it's basically just Zeus with the ram's horns. Yeah, huge. Now, here's what I am going to say in defense of Jesus. Because there's one thing that I'm becoming very intolerant of, and that is people, and specifically with the name calling and shit that is coming out of people. Because ultimately, anyone who wants to do anything good for human civilization, going back to Jesus, people like me who are trying to wake the world up about the real truth about reptilians and the Illuminati, Elon Musk for wanting to promote free speech, Donald Trump for, let's be honest, the real reason they hate him is the anti-human trafficking laws he signed in, and he shut down a lot of their illegal money scamming activities. Um, and a recurring theme is that people, anyone doing anything good, is going to be attacked by these people, and it basically goes back to the idea. Now, this is on my. In fact, let me show you what this comes from. One of the most watched videos on my Odyssey channel. I have 3 Odyssey channels now, but the most watched video is the one I have here about Babylonian Talmud and Zionist conspiracy. Because it will tell you the truth in there of how they, first of all, it'll tell you the truth that Jesus was real. And they knew he was the Son of God. And they'll explain to you why they crucified him, because he was a threat to their existence. It was not the Jews, and it was not the Romans. They set it up to make it appear that way. It was actually the 72 Pharisees. 72 is an interesting number. There are 72 demons in the Lesser Key of Solomon. The 72 Pharisees that brought the oral tradition from Babylon, who said that Christianity and what Jesus was promoting was more of a threat to their existence than those of the pagans. Now, the Roman definition of pagan is anyone who engages in animal and human sacrifices to the gods and goddesses. So what the hell could be worse to their existence, or what are they doing that apparently animal and human sacrifice is no big deal to them, but Christianity is? Well, there are things in Babylonian Talmud which are promoted by the Pharisees. And it goes back to one of those video PEDO word. That's all I'm going to say. This, and if you watch this documentary, it's on my Odyssey channel under my Kinninigan account. It's an hour long. It will tell you everything that's in Babylonian Talmud, and also, yeah, Jesus was real. And basically, the same tactics they used to condemn Jesus are the same ones they use today, specifically gossip and magic. Gee, does that sound familiar? So, when I saw the name Aman and the content creators he hangs around and the kind of content they're putting down, I will say this. I'd be gladly willing to challenge Aman or Lady Babylon 666 or any of the asshats, that's a Masonic term, that he hangs around with, and if they want to have a debate with me about Jesus, I'd be willing to do it. And I'm telling you this, but you know, don't bring the Bible to a Talmud fight, right? See, I'm going to defend Jesus not by using the Bible, but by what I learned in Babylonian Talmud. And I guarantee you, none of them are going to want to debate me. Why? Because when you have facts and your sources are solid, they're going to back down. They're going to back down real quick. Now, I've been plagiarized before. Like, a lot of people know how I teach people that Alpha Draconians are avian in nature. Well, someone decided years ago to plagiarize my work, and then that's when it was going around within conspiracy and alternative conspiracy circles that there were people say they're blue space chickens, but yeah, they were trying to say that there were these blue avian aliens. Avian aliens that are blue. Where'd they get that idea? So yeah, I'm not even going to entertain any of the content they put out. I'm not watching that, but that's just disgusting in my opinion. Jesus used children to get high. Gee, you want to know where? Very interesting. So yeah, I don't really need to look into the guy anymore, Harold. And look, it's not your fault. I don't blame you for anything that this guy's doing. He has a right to do it. And if he ever wants to debate someone who knows their shit when it comes to these topics, come find me. And they won't. I'm telling you right now, they will not. Specifically when I'm telling them right up front that I am going to use what I learned from Babylonian Talmud to defend what Jesus was about and who actually condemned and crucified him and why. Specifically after I go over the part in Babylonian Talmud where it basically promotes being a kitty diddler. Yeah, they're going to back down real quick. uh, hey, you ever heard the term fight fire with fire? Sometimes you got to fight evil with evil. And there's it's my shield against Satanists because when you have your facts right and you know your shit, they're not going to try to debate you about it. That's all I'm saying. That's another thing with Luciferians. They get off their high horse real quick when people actually know their shit when it comes to these topics. And real Luciferians are very well aware that Jesus is real. You are actually taught that in specific levels of the Masons. And yeah. So yeah, I'm not really going to look into Ammon Hillman or the people that he runs in circles with. But I've seen a few. Yeah, whatever. It's not my soul that's on the line there. Go ahead, Amon Hillman. Get your 30 pieces of silver talking propaganda about Jesus for. And secondly, I don't know. I would say the guy's a Mason, but also at the same time, I don't think the Masons would want people putting out that kind of content from their organization. They tend to stay, you know, they're not really going to say. In fact, I don't know if you knew this. The word Jesus is banned inside lodges. Just saying, you're not going to say the word Jesus inside a lodge. uh, I don't know. Could be a Satanist. Maybe he is a Mason. Who knows? But huge red flags there as far as the word Aman goes. It's Aman, amen. And there's also going back to ancient times and the Holy Land. You have the Ammonites, and yeah, there's definitely some. So yeah, I don't mind answering that for you. I would be highly skeptical of anything he's putting out. Him and it's probably poison that's coming out of that guy's mouth, and he has every right to. But he will be judged one day. Yeah, wait till he gets up to the pearly gates and Jesus is standing there like, what did you say about me now? Bye bye. Yeah, in case you did not know, they basically admit Jesus is he's real. They admit it in this. There's absolutely no disputing it. But what's even the most screwed up part is how they actually take it his crucifixion, the way it was done, and then they pin the blame on the Romans and the Jews. And kind of nobody blamed the Pharisees for it. In fact, most people don't even know about the Pharisees or who they were. They are they come from Babylon, reptilian. I mean, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. Now, what were they doing that was worse than paganism, which involves human and animal sacrifice to the gods and goddesses? That's the Roman definition of pagan, by the way. Or else you are a militia Christo, soldier of Christ, which a lot of Romans turned into after the crucifixion. Um, you start to realize, wow, they really did know he was the Son of God. And I've also done a few other lectures about Jesus, and I can get those back on YouTube. I did some really good ones, and they were questions that people had for me about Jesus. Jesus Christ, God's human diplomat on pagan earth. That's an over hour long lecture. And Jesus Christ and the Book of the Nazarene. The Nazarene, they are the secret teachings of Jesus that are being hidden by the church because it would be detrimental to their existence. Remember when Jesus flipped over the bankers' tables in the temple? Just saying. The Vatican Bank is one of the most powerful organizations on earth right now. I don't think Jesus, that's not what. He didn't want powerful places like the Vatican rising up out of his existence. Yeah, I'm Catholic, but most of us Catholics do not support what the Vatican is doing. And this Pope Francis, I don't even know how he calls himself. This rogue ass Pope. Uh, so I'll just stop there. Want me to get my Jesus lectures back on YouTube? I will. If Ammon Hillman or Lady Babylon 666 want to have a debate with me about Jesus, get a hold of me. I'm letting you know right up front, my sources come from Masonic teachings and Babylonian Talmud. Yeah. So, you better know your shit when it comes to these subjects. Everything I know about Luciferians, I learned from their own teachings. Just saying. In 2024, this is the age of information. Every occult text that's ever been written, whether it's Babylonian Talmud or the Necronomicon, is out there in the public domain and available for research. This is why these secret societies are not as powerful as they used to be in memberships, and they're not. A lot of Masonic lodges are closing. We have a lot of them here in Philadelphia because this whole city was Masonic lodges. We're the oldest city in the country. Of course there was. And they're closing. Yeah, they're apparently not a lot of people are signing up to become new members. And that's hopefully because of things like people like me do and teaching people what you're actually getting involved in. You want to join because you want to be a Luciferian? Fine. Yeah, you have every right to. So mote it be. That's what you say at the end of a black magic prayer. Ammon Ra is what they say at the end of the Masonic Bibles. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So yeah, I think my gum's healed up. No dry socket. Thank God. We got a new Klaus Schwab pick we need to talk. Not right now. You're getting tired of that Klaus Schwab pick I have of him naked on. Well, he's not naked on the beach. He's on the. I'm not showing that pic right now. But we got a new pic here. This is the logo for APEC CEO Summit from 2022 in Thailand. I'd like to do this lecture and put it on my Patreon and locals. Basically, it would be a lecture on why they hate Russia, Russia, Russia so much. And here's your clue right now. Remember, when Berlin fell in World War II, the Red Army were the first ones to march on Berlin, specifically to find the dead body of Adolf Hitler. It wasn't really Adolf, though. It was a body double. We all know that. From declassified CIA documents now, that he fled to Argentina. There's even a conspiracy that he fled to Hollow Earth and set up New Schweibland, but that was from Antarctica. I actually have the Nazi dive maps that they used for U-boats to dive into the Hollow Earth. Yeah, they're out in the public domain too. Didn't know if you knew that. So yeah, the Fourth Reich does not like, and I think it's because of a few things that Putin has done over the past few years. And secondly, and what's really strange about that is you would think the Fourth Reich. Wait, don't Aryans, don't they like white people? They're supposed to, right? Because Russia currently right now has the largest population of white Christians on planet Earth right now. Just saying. And so I'm gonna get into about that. I'm only bringing that up because there's some Russia stuff going on with content creators on YouTube right now. I don't know if you've heard the stories involving a few big content creators on YouTube who are supposedly being investigated by the FBI right now for being Russian disinformation agents. Yeah. Let them accuse me of being that. Like I said, when you have your facts and you know your shit, they tend to back down real quick. And I know why they hate Russia, Russia, Russia so much. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that guy. I'm not going to breathe any more life into him or the content and basically shit him and the circles he hangs around and produces. They have every right, you can. Hey, I'm not here to judge people. I don't judge souls, okay? And going back to Egyptian mysticism, I am not Anubis. I'm not judging your soul in the afterlife. I'm not putting your heart on a scale and seeing if it weighs more or less than a feather to decide whether you burn in hell or ascend to heaven. Okay, that's not my job. Like this regime right now that thinks that they could tell you what to say and think. Yeah, that's where we run into some issues. Anyway, maybe it's good right now that until the elections are over, it's probably good that I don't have a million subs on my YouTube channel, or I would be targeted by the regime. They're going after any content creator who has a large following right now in different ways. All this shit is happening at the same time. It's within the past few days, actually. It's not a coincidence. They're trying to get these content creators demonetized, taken down off YouTube, or in some cases, actually being interviewed by the FBI for being a Russian asset. And that is anyone who does not toe the line for the current regime. Now, I only have 1,605 subs. And the funny thing is, I'm probably more of a threat to their existence than any one of those content creators are. But for the time being, it'll keep me under the radar because they're not. It's all about politics right now. Yeah, well, the things I deal with are these are the people who invented politics and and subverted religion. So I'm going all the way straight up to the head of the snake in this case. And for the time being, keep me under the radar. Jay, well, when you're on your 10th YouTube channel, by the way, most of those content creators, if they lost 10 YouTube channels, they wouldn't be around anymore. Most of them get a community guideline strike and they don't know what to do. They go like run the Rumble. I don't trust Rumble. So I'm stubborn. That's my Leo nature. So yeah, that's kind of my update. My no dry socket. It's pretty much pretty much healed up. The thing that happens, like when I don't know if any of you, probably some of you listening have had teeth pulled, especially when you're an adult. It's not the same as when you're a kid. Um, you ever hear the term like phantom limbs? Like when people sadly lose, like become amputees, and they said they could still feel like their limbs. Crazy as it may sound, like I had that issue right after my tooth with like phantom teeth, like getting used to the hole in my mouth. Thank God. All right, but here's the good thing. It was because it was one of my molars. At least it's not changing my speech. Like that would happen if you lose some of your front teeth. Yeah, it could affect your speech. But it should be okay. I'm able to eat solid food again. And I've been getting some ideas for content. And I told someone, don't worry, I didn't forget about doing a video about the Arcturians. Although, look, I'm just going to say this up front. I don't like doing videos about things that I have to not have solid evidence for. And it's very difficult to get good information, specifically if you're going to get good information on entities that have good or are not evil. That's all I'm saying. Because they are not. Nobody talks about the Arcturian. I wouldn't say nobody. There are people that do, but it's a very small niche group, okay? Most of you may not have heard of the Arcturians. And so we'll talk about that when I do the video, why. But there is some evidence for their existence, and it's a subject that is heavily covered up. And of all things, this is one of my theories. My theory is, and we'll talk about it in the video, is that they are the ones controlling the Black Knight satellite, and we'll talk about what that possibly could be doing, and what these entities could be doing. They are the ones that are referred to as the Watchers. That's what I'm saying. Now, you may have heard. Look, there's a lot of disinformation when it comes to the alternative media. That's why I wanted to point these YouTube channels out. And a lot of them have very suspicious names. Hello. Could you get it any more obvious? I mean, you might as well just name yourself Hiram Abiff, 33. The widow's son. Whatever. And, yeah, so that. And look, I'd rather just I wouldn't mind doing a video on Aman. I never did. I'm always looking for new topics to do videos about. And yeah, I will get these Jesus lectures back up on YouTube. I gotta go through them and see what I say in these videos, just to make sure. Because in all honesty, on this platform, they don't care if you make videos saying things like Jesus was a pedo or Jesus was evil. Obviously. But if you're putting up videos trying to put things in a positive light about them, they're not going to like that very much because Google is run by Luciferians. And Luciferians don't like Jesus. In fact, you're not even allowed to mention his name in certain lodges. What are they so scared of? So anyway, yeah, that's all for my rant this evening. I had to delete the video yesterday because I was talking about kitty diddlers and that, and I don't want a community Well, right now it would just be a warning, but I don't even want one of them on my channel right now. My channel's been clean. This has been the longest stretch of time that I've not had to take a 2-week vacation off YouTube, and I like to keep it that way. Summer's over. Fall is one of my favorite seasons because, in fact, I'm about to take the air conditioner out of my window. I want to get some fresh air in here. I love that time of year where you can just open windows up. No heat, no air conditioning. And, yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff going on. And, yeah, content creators are being attacked right now. Anyone who does not toe the line for the current regime is being attacked. No surprise. Time's running out for them. I think they're really in panic mode. Every step they think they take forward, or they take 13 steps back. Pun intended. They do. Hey, that's what happens when you deal with demons. What do you expect? So anyway, I hope everyone's having a good Friday night. Yeah, like I said, if you could support the channel. Anyone wants to send me $2, believe me, you make my Friday night really good. And I don't want to make any promises, but because I am finally able to talk now, let's see why I can't live stream. Not tonight. Maybe tomorrow night. But if I do, it will be about the Arcturians and the Black Knight satellite and what I know about them. And I'm going to have to just give a disclaimer that these are just theories. I can't prove or disprove. These are just my own opinions on them. But it's very difficult to find good information about them. That's all I'm going to say. And I've known about the Arcturians for and in fact, I've made a video about the Arcturians before and the Black Knight satellite, and it was on my first Kinninigan channel that YouTube is obviously taken down off my first channel, and I did cover them at that time. So we're just gonna have to remake the video. That's all. And yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's all. Any questions or comments, leave them below. If you could support the channel, all the links are in the description. Take care and God bless.